In fact, he brought me to his porch, he sat me down, and he threatened to fire me. That was the day I got serious in my real estate career. I didn't want to get fired. I liked my job. It was a lot better than shoveling asphalt and seal coating parking lots. I was like, I want to keep this. So I listened to Mr. Kent. He was trying to help me, even though that day I thought he was trying to upset me. The truth is, he'd seen something in me, and he was helping me get better. And he was pretty clear. You're selling my property. You better pick up the phone when I call. So I had good, thanks, Bob. Welcome, friends and family. So excited to be here with you today from our Cookeville Elevate studio. And I just want to remind everyone that Elevate is a faith-led coaching and mentorship program with an emphasis on leadership. I remember, and I'm just kind of talking from the heart right now, but I do remember years ago being at a church in Brentwood with Rice Broocks. Rice Broocks was the pastor. Rice Broocks is actually the guy who kind of helped put together the movie God's Not Dead. Phenomenal pastor. But I'll never forget, he said that for many years he went up and he preached at this church in Nashville, and he had a podium right there, and on it said, we're a discipleship-making church. We're a discipleship-making church. So for years he got up there and preached, and it's like, we have that on our podium, but what does that really mean? Like, what is that? And what I always was super attracted to Rice Broocks is that Rice Broocks was always discipling the next lead pastor, or the next pastor that was going to go out and plant a church. Maybe similar to what I see in Steve Taboo here at the River. I see him always working on discipling men and women that will go in and carry on the work. So we can do that in real estate too, right? Like we can do that in anything. We can cut out that model that we see that works, and then we emulate that. And that's what coaching and mentorship can do for you. So without a good coach, without a good mentor in life, you're probably going to hit a ceiling pretty quick. But when you have good coaches, good mentors, here's the thing. I can see out, but I can't see in. So I can tell you pretty quickly what I can see that maybe could help you a little bit, but I need people that can see into my life and say, hey, Elijah, if you said it like this, or if you did this, or when you said that, you smiled, it might come across better. So we need to always be looking at who can we be a coach or a mentor to, and who can we receive coaching and mentorship from. Accountability is a big deal. Folks, today we're going to continue in our series on, I was about to say discipleship, but I'm not going to do it, on finances. And we're going to talk about, again, how Zig Ziglar put that wheel of life together. Great mentor, great coach, guys. This guy helped hundreds of thousands, millions of people. He was a game changer. They called Zig the hope dealer. And then he put together the wheel of life. And the reason he put that wheel of life together is because he didn't want you to, get really highly successful in your career and then lose your marriage. You know what I mean? And there's probably a bunch of marriages that wishes, hey, I wish they were a little more successful in their finances too. Or marriages that may be great, but they hate their career. Their career sucks. Every day they hate going to work. So we should have a balance in life. Guess who gets to make that decision? That's right, you do. I do. We get to make that decision. We can't blame people for where we're at, but we can become intentional to improve where we're at. And so a story I want to share with you today when we talk about finances, I was thinking back to a long time ago, one of the first listings, and for those who have been kind enough to listen to these before, you remember me talking to you about Bob Kent. Bob Kent was the guy who coined the message in my mind. If you don't pick up your phone, you can't make no money. In fact, he brought me to his porch, he sat me down, and he threatened to fire me. That was the day I got serious in my real estate career. I didn't want to get fired. I liked my job. It was a lot better than shoveling asphalt and seal coating parking lots. I was like, I want to keep this. So I listened to Mr. Kent. He was trying to help me, even though that day I thought he was trying to upset me. The truth is, he'd seen something in me, and he was helping me get better. And he was pretty clear. You're selling my property. You better pick up the phone when I call. So I had good, thanks, Bob. Another lesson Mr. Bob Kent taught me. In that process of listing Bob's property, he come to me one day and he said, Elijah, is there anything we can do to market this property better? And of course, I'm a new agent, been licensed maybe 2 years. And so I'm like, Bob, great question. Let me go ask my broker. So talked to my broker. I was like, ma'am, is there anything we could do to help Mr. Kent's market his? And she said, and I'll never forget, she said, hey, times are tough. It was 2008. She's like, times are tough. We ain't got no more money. We got no budget for help improving any more marketing. And so I carried that right back to Mr. Kent. I said, Bob, here's what I was told. And he looked at me and he said, I wonder what she did with all that money when times were good. Whoa, that sat on me. you know, it made me think, yeah, there was a great real estate market before I got in it in 2005. Things were in fire. And then it just kind of crashed. And it kind of dawned on me. I was like, man, if you're going to be in a commission-only position, then you've got to be paying attention, not only when things are good, but also when things are going bad. What do I mean by that? Here's what I mean. We got to be wise to store up. Put things in savings. And I wouldn't even say savings, guys, because really and truly right now, if you look at the way the world is going today, if you're a saveaholic, which is really rare today that people save, period, because you got a whole culture and a whole system that is bent against you saving money. It's built on you spending, and not for investing spending, but for bigger suits, bigger houses, nicer cars, that kind of spending, keeping up with the Joneses kind of spending. But here's the truth. Very few people are savers. But for you saveaholics, because you are if you are, you know if you are, the truth is inflation's ate a lot of your profit up. See, inflation's took the value of the dollar and devalued it. So now you've been saving, but while you've been saving, your dollars got worth less. Let me ask you a question. Will $100 buy today what it would have bought 10 years ago? If I went to the grocery store with you with $100 10 years ago, could we have filled up the back of our truck with that $100? Today, could you fill up the back of your seat with $100? Probably not. So the truth is, if you're a saver, I'm not totally advising on saving right now. Remember the great Zig Ziglar said, hey, you know, money isn't everything, but it's just right up there like oxygen on the you got to have it to live scale. So we need to pay attention to our finances. And one of the reasons why is because times aren't always going to be good. So it's so important, folks, so important, whether you're in a commission-only job or if you're in a normal job, a 9-to-5, right? It's so important that you don't go in over your head, that you pay attention and don't overspend, and that you hopefully put back some of your money to invest wisely. There's all kind of ways of investing. I only know a few. My main one would be real estate, and I could talk to you about that all day because it's something that I'm very passionate about. But I'm sure there's other people out there like financial advisors that you can trust, that you can talk to about where to put your money so that when you earn, you don't spend everything you earn, but you save a portion of it. As much as 10, 15, 20%, put it towards savings. You know, renting can be a good thing for a while, but when you can buy, and here's the thing, if you buy a home, you can always sell a home. Again, let's go back. What do you think I talk to people all the time that maybe did live in their home for 40, 50 years. And when they look at me and they say, I had this home with this 28 acres, you won't believe what I gave for it. And I gave $60,000 when I bought this. $60,000? Sir, your home today is worth over $600,000. You only gave $60,000, the land alone that it's sitting on, the value's there. So put your money into things that will bring a return. Folks, to wrap this story up, to wrap our time up here today, I want to share this with you. A little later, when I went back to Bob, he kind of rolled his eyes. It was a little upsetting to him that we didn't have a marketing budget. And he said it politely. He said, but wonder what she did with all that money when times are good. It wasn't probably 2 years from that date the doors of that office closed because there was no savings. They couldn't weather a storm. Warren Buffett said, when the tide goes out, you can see who's skinny dipping. See, when you get to debt up to your eyeballs, it doesn't take a market shift much before you feel it. You had a good job, you're making good money, but they just cut you because they can find somebody that can come in and do your job for half the price. Suddenly, you're in debt up to 90, and now, man, you're probably going to go through some really tough, turbulent times that you can avoid if when times are good, you put it into things that will bring a return. Don't spend it all. And I would even say don't save it all. Save a portion of it, but invest as much as you can. And there's a lot of places you can invest, $100, Robinhood, there's accounts out there that you can put it in that can bring a return. So it really doesn't take a big chunk. Just put a little bit towards it. Consistency over time can bring phenomenal results. So that's my share today. I do want you guys to remember that if you get a chance, we just put out our book. It's on Amazon, Elevate Your Rental Wealth. If you'd like a copy of it, connect with us however you feel comfortable. We'll get you a copy of it, or go on Amazon, buy it. It's a very short read, quick listen, but it's something I could definitely walk you through, being that I had my first rental when I was 16. I just turned 50 on the 18th of July, 2026. So, done that for a while. I can definitely help walk you through that. That book will add some value to you. We definitely appreciate you taking time to listen today. If there's any value that's been added here to you today, if you think it could add any value to your friends, we would appreciate it if you liked and shared. Thank you.